Finally. Okay, I think I'm live. So, I decided to talk about something that, okay, wait, I'm kind of waiting to see. Okay, maybe I'm live now. Sorry, the red band's running across the top. I couldn't tell. Anyway, so what is the reversal card? It's something I just named just now because it makes the most sense to do that. But let's do an experiment. Let's take a little journey. So, figure out the planetary intersections of your card. And if you are one of the cards that makes an X through the deck, you're out of luck. You need to look at like your planetary ruler or something else that is not Mercury, Mercury, Venus, Venus, Mars, Mars. So my card is Venus, Venus. So I'm going to borrow from the Queen of Diamonds to do this experiment. So the reversal card would be, excuse me, and this came up briefly in the last live. So she is sitting in the intersection of vertical Mercury and horizontal Saturn. So what would happen if we went to horizontal Mercury and vertical Saturn? See how I did that? It's pretty simple. So I just know that I have a kind of a tense relationship with the Five of Clubs. And so that's one approach, is to look at how you relate to that card. The other approach is maybe to do a little analytical work around how do the planets show up with that card. And so this might give us some discernment into how the vertical stream would be different from the horizontal. And a long time ago, I just named the horizontal the earth plane and the vertical the divine. But as I think about the Queen of Diamonds and the Five of Clubs, something becomes kind of like maybe it's a clue. So I see the Five of Clubs as kind of hiding their Saturn energy. They're in vertical Saturn, and I think that on a quiet, deep internal level, they're searching for purpose. They're searching for, I don't know. I think there's a very quiet, understated feeling of being bound to something, or a heaviness, or maybe it's kind of a self-esteem thing. And I haven't been able to figure it out because it's so kind of under the surface, and their presentation is just the opposite. So, okay, so planetary walks. If you were a planet and you could walk, what would you walk like? So when I was participating in the Dances of Universal Peace, we had an English instructor that kind of came up with this, and we would practice our planetary walks, which was really fun. So I wish I could demonstrate it by walking around the room, but the Saturn walk, as you can imagine, is very slow, very deliberate, taking stock of everything that's around them, slow, heavy, kind of earth energy. Whereas, what's Mercury? What would be a Mercury walk? Well, that's like my dog, who's 3 of Hearts, which is Mercury, Mercury. And they just kind of dart around, and everything is like there's a brightness, there's a cheerfulness, there's a very light, dun 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 dun, bouncy, bouncy, which is just the opposite of the slow-moving Saturn. And I think where they come into intersection is around truth. The importance of truth, because Mercury is information, and I think the deeper search is for truth, but the more surface presentation is very amusing, very bouncy, very eclectic, thinking, communicating. So that's kind of more how we observe the Five of Clubs. But, you know, if you are, I would very much like your feedback. Am I right in perceiving that there's a certain kind of heaviness that you keep to yourself? And so that's a vertical. So it's like, okay, is the vertical energy a little bit more hidden? So I ask myself that as the Queen of Diamonds, is my vertical energy a little bit more hidden, whereas my Saturn energy is more apparent to everyone because that's in the horizontal plane? Maybe the vertical is the spiritual plane. So as a Queen of Diamonds, and when I observe them, their presentation can be very serious, task oriented, grounded, a sense of purpose, a maturity. I think they bring that to their presentation. And the Mercury, the vertical Mercury, that would show up as a deep investment and search for the truth. And where the Five of Clubs may doubt their Saturn qualities of, am I grounded? Do I have a sense of purpose? Maybe the vertical Mercury, maybe there's a doubt around, can I know the truth? Do I know the truth? Am I correct? And this definitely bears out. Am I on the right track? So there's this kind of seeking energy. And I think that Queen of Diamonds don't come off as having that kind of inner quest or the self-doubt. And I think, when they really mature into having kind of mastered their own Saturn card, which is the Seven of Clubs in their hand, and they overcome judgment, they do the inner work, then it's more apparent. And they're more willing to present to you what their doubts and weaknesses and vulnerabilities are. In fact, I had somebody ask a question on the chat. Are the Queen of Diamonds do they come across as arrogant, or there's nothing wrong with me, or I'm perfect? I can't remember the exact words, but I was like, well, that would definitely be the shadow side, because my therapist friend, who is the Queen of Diamonds in Aries, she's so in touch with her weaknesses and her faults that it allows her true gifts to just blossom in terms of compassion for others, understanding, discernment, creating space for people to be imperfect. So maybe when that Five of Clubs graduates to an understanding of their own Saturn card, their own Saturn influence, I think they definitely become more of a stabilizing space for other people. They would stabilize. The Queen of Diamonds can hold space for you to find your truth. The Five of Clubs can stabilize and maybe help find purpose. So maybe that vertical is like a gift that you could give. Okay, Graham, my Scottish friend. Did I say that like an Irish person? What have I missed? No, I have not been on very long. 8 minutes. And I'm talking about the reversal card, which is this. You'll have to remind me of what your card is. So I was looking at the Queen of Diamonds. She's vertical Mercury, horizontal Saturn. So if I go horizontal Saturn and vertical Mercury, that's the reversal card. And you can just kind of look at it. You're the Three of Diamonds. Okay, so that would be horizontal. Well, and we could look in the pure spread too, right? That would be fascinating. So your horizontal Mercury, vertical Uranus. So let's go down to the Uranus line and look at the Mercury card, which is the Queen of Spades. Okay, so my very first question to you would be, did you see how I did that, by the way? You are Uranus, Mercury. This is Mercury, Uranus. So how do you relate to spade females? That would be a real test for you to kind of understand how this vibration feels to you. January 2nd is the only birthday of the Queen of Spades. So if you're lucky enough to know one of those, I get tired just being around them. They're like, woo! Like the lead singer in our band that I was in for a while was like, she was like a speech therapist, a regular counselor, a dance instructor, a yoga instructor, a rock climber, lead singer in our band. It was like, good Lord, no way. That's your mother, January 2nd. Holy shit. Okay, so let's ask the question. Okay, so the horizontal Mercury for the Three of Diamonds can show up in terms of being very connective, very social, very communicative. And she's all uptight. That's interesting. Well, Queen of Spades, super serious. And there you are in the Mercury line. So your presentation and your modus operandi is going to be kind of more geared towards being mercurial, augmented by the other influences. But Mercury it's fun, it's playful, it's like, let's try this, threes are like that, let's try this, if it doesn't work, let's try that, and like, who cares, The Uranus energy is very interesting. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, they say. So Uranus combined with Mercury would be innovation, brand new ideas that have never been tried before, a real pioneer in the realm of, I don't know, ideas, but also since you're a diamond, it's like innovation with business, innovation with values, with how we're going to do something, what we see as important. So Uranus is kind of fun, experimental. It's there's a lot of movement there. Yep, we're very close, but it's taken all my 45 years for us to start understanding each other. Wow, are you 45? That's terrific that you are beginning to understand each other. And I would imagine you set that up from the beginning because you hold, I would say, an opposing reflection in a way, like the reversal, like the backwards, so that you can maybe integrate some of those aspects within yourself. So, like the things that you find the most troubling about her, are there aspects that are like that are kind of hidden in you? Okay, so the vertical energy of Uranus, we have to ask the question, according to my theory, is this a little bit more hidden? Are you really unconventional, unpredictable, unstructured, somewhat unreliable, and you keep these things hidden? If that's true, then we're on to something here. Grumpy. My reverse is my mother as well, but in the heaven script. Well, in the pure spread? Is that what you mean? I've never heard it called heaven script. I love that. I've realized we're more alike than different. That is incredible. Okay, so we're on to something with this. Well, let's face it, I'm on to something with this vertical line being a little bit more hidden. So the Queen of Spades, tell me this about your mother. Is she really on a quest for truth? Really wants to make connections? There's a little child in there, the mercurial child. Is she a little unsure of what is true? But she doesn't want to reveal that to anybody. But her outward presentation is Uranus. I'm gay, a vegetarian witch, so highly unconventional. Yeah, I'd say so. I love that. Dang it, I wish I could hear you talk. I'm going to have to come up with, what did you say? You said I was like Willie the gardener, and I remembered that was in The Simpsons, Willie the groundskeeper. I don't know. We'll see if it comes out. Okay, so the horizontal Uranus is, it's really humanitarian. I can only come up with mostly good things to say about the Queen of Spades because the one that I knew I really, really like. But I found her taxing, very challenging, and there was a real, I don't know. Anyway, they're really good life coach energies. Their hand is all odd, so they're more likely to be unconventional. So there's a lot of unconventionality, I think, that is in that Queen of Spades that I would say those are the two things that run counter each other because they have a tremendous sense of responsibility and confidence and capability. But they're going to do it their own way. They're going to, I think they could be very good at honoring other people's unconventionality. I don't know. But anyway, Grumpy, let's talk about your mom. So what's your card? Because this is just unbelievable. Not only that you would know someone born on January 2nd, Graham, but that it's your mother, and then someone else shows up who has the same thing. Is this the reversal apply for the fixed cards? Well, yeah. You know, the way it would apply for the fixed cards. Yeah, definitely. So, like the crown line, you can't really do it with the King of Spades. But the Jack of Hearts, you would look at the Four of Clubs. No. Let's see. Venus, Jupiter, Venus, which would be the Four of Spades. There is definitely a similarity between those two, the Christ card and the Four of Spades. I've even called it, like, my nickname for the Four of Spades is the loving or the humble or the unassuming teddy bear, the professional teddy bear. like they keep themselves in the background, but they really lift others up. It's a very Christ-like thing. Yep, considering it's the only QS date, Queen of Spades date, difficult to say that it's chance. I wonder if there's a similar connection to the father cards. Well, that would be interesting to look at. I think yours is just crazy synchronistic with this video I decided to do last minute and you being able to show up. I see the fixed cards as the rainbow colors. Oh, I love that. I see the fixed cards and the semi-fixed, which I just call the circle of 7. I see them as incarnations, different levels of the incarnation of spirit or the relationship between God and man. But I would be very interested in your colors to see what, is the 7 of diamonds yellow by any chance? So I'm the 7 of diamonds. What is your card, Grumpy? I forget what your card is because we can look at your reversal and your mom. So anyway, the Jack of Hearts. I know that's a typo, but I like hearts. Green. You would say the Jack of Hearts is green or the 7 of diamonds is green. Okay, so the Jack of Hearts. Do you know any 4 of spades? Is your mother the 4 of spades? Interesting that both of your mothers would be spades. So let's look at the Jack of Hearts this way. So the vertical energy, yes, home is where the hearth is. I was thinking that too. Like I said to somebody once, your heart is the hearth around which we gather. And when you come to town, we all gather around. We don't gather normally. But when you come, you magnetize us together. It's so sweet. Okay, so the vertical energy of Jupiter, I think, is the green realm of nature. Yes, and it's the Jack of Hearts. That's what you're saying is green. That's beautiful. So the vertical Jupiter, I would say, is a more like I'm theorizing that the vertical energy is more hidden, and when it's fully developed, it's like this gift that you give other people. So Jupiter is about, what's possible, positivity, but also expansion. And I think there's a pretty mature energy to Jupiter. It is a father archetype. And the Jack is always trying to gain confidence and step into its king or queen, the maturity of it. So Grumpy, I don't know if you're male or female. But anyway, I do see that as being, like, I think Jack of Hearts are very sweet, and I think they are generally positive. Okay, there's one that I do know fairly well, and I just adore her. I think she's really lived into that Jupiter because she holds space for people's potential in a masterful way. The horizontal Venus is what presents, is like more connective. So the green realm of nature, the reversal of green is magenta. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Okay, so the 4 of spades. So how would you attribute those colors to you and your mother? That's fascinating. What color is your whoever, and what color are you, and how do you see yourselves interacting? That's, what is the relationship to color? Because we definitely feel like we clash with some people. We have to kind of adjust our hue a little bit so we don't clash, maybe. That's an interesting study. So the 4 of spades, the vertical Venus would be more understated. And it's the desire to connect, to relate, maybe to have a kind of mutuality, a shared intimate togetherness. The way I see 4 of spades is and I know one fairly well, and I just don't have a lot of others to draw on in my mind, but I do think, let's see, there's a famous actor, a man who's the 4 of spades, like, I forget, but it's a very generous, gracious, charming kind of energy. Maybe the charm is the hidden Venus, but that Jupiter is what kind of outwardly expresses, because I see them as being very supportive and uplifting of other people, holding space for their potential, which is what the Jack of Hearts can grow into. So is there kind of a reflective thing going on there between you and your mother? Okay, so for the Jack of Hearts, this is very easy to just look in that same spot to see your other reversal. It would be the 10 of clubs. So if we're looking at this spread where it's all in order, do you know a 10 of clubs and how do you relate to them? 10 of clubs tend to be very, very affected by their position here in this crown line. They usually are the only functional ones in very dysfunctional families. They don't receive well. I could see a Jack of Hearts martyr energy being, yeah, the martyr. That's where they line up. Oh, the reflector in human design. Yes. If I come with love. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the reflector and the projector, but I know that they're a minority. She loves you more. Oh, if you come with love, she loves you more. Well, yeah. That's good. So 3 of diamonds. Let's take your position here, which is where the Queen of Diamonds is. And let's look at your reflector, which for me was the 5 of clubs on the other one. Yours would be the 5 of hearts. So Mercury, Saturn, Saturn, Mercury. So do you know any 5 of hearts, or how do you relate to that card, Graham? If I come with hate, she hate me more. Yeah. Is that because she's a reflector? Or you're a reflector? And do you find that that other people are very sensitive to your vibration? That's interesting. I'm a manifesting generator. Oh, she's a reflector. That's fascinating. I think my husband might be a reflector. He's either a projector or a reflector. And he is definitely more sensitive to other people's energy. They're very sensitive to his too. It's been real tricksy. You take a lot of things personally that you don't need to. But it's like, it's just your energy, man. Sneeze. Okay. You don't think you know any 5 of hearts? Okay. Okay, Jon Stewart, the talk show host. Johnny Carson, the talk show host. Sometimes the 5 of hearts are very beautiful but vacuous people. This is Maisie. She's the 3 of hearts. Precious girl. You want something, don't you? Very affectionate. 3 of hearts. Well, how would you relate to the energy of the 5 of hearts? Which would be, are you able to access your inner child needs and wants? Like, it's a snowy day and you just want to stay inside and watch Harry Potter or something like that. Or like, I really need you to say such and such to me. Oh, it's raining. I've been trying to manifest rain for the last couple of weeks. Guess it's finally raining. I have a book outside. Anyway, thank you. I figured someone would say bless you. Those type of people do seem to gravitate towards me. Oh, that's very interesting. And I see a very different kind of energy there. The Green Knight. Hi. I was just about to say I'm mad about rainy days. Really? You love them. Meaning, I'm mad about rainy days. Is that a little bit like the groundskeeper, Willie? My name's Willie. No, that's not it. I need to watch a YouTube video of people with Scottish accents, so I'm prepared for you. Yes, cozy in the house with the book. So yeah, that's an interesting thing too. How do you relate to your spirit reversal card versus the mundane reversal card. Or very old. Are you, you, Grumpy, you or your mom? Very new to Earth incarnations or very old? I think you're saying it's the reflectors are. And that's exactly my sense of it too. Because they just started showing up not too long ago on the scale of time. And I think sometimes old souls incarnate as that because it's difficult. And new ones do because it accommodates their kind of strangeness, feeling strange on the planet. Yeah, my accent's definitely getting worse. It's getting worse. I need some serious practice. Maybe I should look up Willie the Groundskeeper. So Green Knight, remind me what your card is. I think you're the 5 of Spades. So yours would be, so what we're doing is, okay, you are vertical Mars, horizontal Venus. So we would look at horizontal Mars and vertical Venus. I mean, the reversal. Okay, Mars, Venus, Venus, Mars. That would be the King of Diamonds, which also happens to be your Uranus card. It's not always in your hand, this reversal card. But if you know a King of Diamonds, what's your connection? And my theory is that the vertical energy is more recessive or hidden, and we have to take time to sort of develop into that. So the King of Diamonds vertical energy, I think they're very connective and friendly and like really nice people, but I think they have to kind of massage themselves into the beauty, the leisure of Venus, the comfort, the making relationship a priority. I mean, they're kind of business-like, right? I mean, they're very, with that Mars energy of, that's what's presenting, is they're always asking the question, what's next? And dun, 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 dun. They're very pragmatic, very forward-moving. They're very deliberate, but they're kind of, serious about let's get her done. So that vertical energy of Venus says, oh, geez, I just really need to stop, have some chocolate, go out to coffee with a friend, do some Venus-y things. And I think that's harder for them. Whereas the 5 of Spades, my North Carolina friends are aghast at my attempts. And NC, okay, is that North Carolina? Are they okay? At my attempts at a Southern U.S. accent, I sound like a Pakistani cowboy. Oh, isn't it hilarious when we tried it? We like Robin Williams and Pierce Brosnan in Mrs. Doubtfire, and he says, "So where are you from? Your accent's kind of mottled, just like your skin. It's very mottled." Yes. So I imagine when we imitate a British, or we mix in the Irish and the Scottish and the Yorkshire, all of it. So anyway, yes, Green Errant, I'm asking you, how does that description of Venus and Mars strike you? Because your vertical Mars would be like, oh, I just really want to figure out how to be more pragmatic, how to move forward. What are my passions? It's a seeking energy. So you're developing that Mars energy in terms of giving yourself permission to feel very strongly about something, maybe even get angry, or yeah, being pragmatic. I know a 5 of Spades who's just, she feels deadly serious, but I think she's probably actually pretty well integrated. She's very flowery in a sense. There's a flowery aspect to her home and her personality, and very connective, but she's very masculine. She's so much more masculine than feminine as a 5 of Spades, which is, wonder if she gets triggered by the King of Diamonds. Yeah, North Carolina. They are okay. Most of their town is downriver, but everyone's alive. Oh my gosh. It's unimaginable, isn't it? I mean, unless you've lived through something like that, and I would think that a war zone is similar. And I just don't relate to a war zone, not in this lifetime. And I just heard the most horrible, this gal from the South got on and made like a TikTok video or something, and she was saying that, I think it's the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, I think that's what it is showing up and threatening to take people's children away from them because they're homeless. And it's like, oh, is that another child grab? Which the Red Cross and all these child protective agencies are actually stealing children and putting them into trafficking and selling them and torturing them for a party substance. And if you know, you know. But like sometimes that's what's going down in disaster areas. It's actually pretty common. So I am just praying about that and hoping that that's not true. And if it is, that these fuckers get exposed and get caught or shot for doing that. It's just like 80% of the state is homeless. And I can just see that happening. I hope it's not true. I have not researched it. I just heard a video this morning. Graham, I'm going to read this first. It has been horrible, but the way the communities have banded together, red hats and blue hats working together to get everybody fed and sheltered, that to me is the real America. I couldn't agree more with you. And I've been tuning into it from the beginning. I've felt very deeply connected to that event for some reason. We're called to be, connected to various events and not to others. And yeah, I was feeling that too. I was like, there are so many more miracles happening right now than tragedies. I mean, maybe it's about even, who knows? I mean, it's a dumb thing to say more than the other, but I could sense the incredible amount of, like, the best of people is being called out in situations like that. And when the need arises, we're capable of so much goodness. And I know there's a lot of shit going on too, but it's kind of exciting to think about that and hearing stories, 1, 2, 3 years down the road. And God just keeps reminding me I've got my hand on each individual life. And it's okay. And it's okay for you to feel devastated about it, for everyone to have their feelings. But I want you to know I'm caring for every single one. And yeah, I needed that comfort. Grumpy, 3 of clubs, creative but new. King of diamonds, very old and tired of creativity. He needs money and values taken to extremes. Oh, that's an interesting interpretation. Yeah, the 3 of clubs has a more childlike energy. They're sitting there in Saturn, Mars, which are both pretty serious and heavy. I think they potentially have that new energy, but they themselves are pretty serious, because anyone in that Saturn line is going to have some really dysfunctional family issues, and they're called to deal with, their internal stuff. And we're not talking about the karma cards here. We would say the 3 of diamonds, or 3 of clubs, Saturn, Mars, would be Mars, Saturn, which is the 2 of diamonds. Oh my God, that's my ex-husband. And the 2 of them get along really well. We actually all lived together for a while. There was nothing hokey going on. My ex-husband and I share a business and our son, who's now 28, or is he 29? Oh my God. 28. But anyway, yeah, they had their stuff, but for the most part, they just really connected, and they're both Libras. Yeah, they just generally really like each other. But King of Diamonds, Mars, Venus. Yes. Yeah, no, so you're talking about the karma card relationship between the King of Diamonds and 3 of Clubs. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe a pair of people like that, but the ones that I see, I don't see kind of the youngish, oldish division. I see more. What they have in common is they're very pragmatic, but one is more forward moving and generally has less shit in their life, so they can kind of afford to be more optimistic. Whereas the Three of Clubs, they see a lot of obstacles. Things are just challenging. I mean, their Pluto card is the Faith card, the Seven of Spades. Is there a possibility things can work out for me? I mean, when it gets really dark, they can get really dark. Okay, Graham says, we need the disasters to remind us that we are really all one. Politics and religion falls away and leaves the naked flame of the soul. That's beautifully said. Oh, I wish I could hear you say that. Maybe I can get an app where I translate everything into a Scottish brogue. That is so true. In fact, I kind of felt that. I was like, I felt really vulnerable right after it happened. Kind of went into crisis. I needed to go see my EMDR therapist and have a session because I felt really vulnerable. I was like, this could happen to anyone, and it doesn't matter what you know or what you believe. And sometimes I feel like I have the world by the tail because I think I know what's going on more than the majority of people. I've been researching it for the last 7 years in depth, exhaustive, nauseating depth, and I don't have any advantage over anybody else if a flood were to sweep through. Then what it would come down to is, are you taking care of each other? Are you okay? Are you an uplifting presence in a time of trouble, or are you going to lose it? I think I would lose it. And all of my knowledge and my political views would come to nothing. Yeah, I think that is the boomerang to the devil, is that when this trouble comes, and that's the grand scheme, is like it makes us stronger. So, darkness has purpose. But yeah, that's the boomerang. Whatever the dark may have intended, the light just grows stronger and the love grows stronger. Isn't that right, Maisie? Yeah, you're right, Graham. And I really appreciate you saying that. I'm going to take that with me. Maisie, did you surprise yourself too? Would you be so strong? Yeah, you could carry water for us. Oh, precious. So precious. He has a fine sense of valuable things. Oh, the King of Diamonds. Isn't she a beautiful dog? Did you see her eyes? Like they're golden. She looks like a Weimaraner. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. You might know you want something. You probably have to go potty. I should probably cut this short in a little bit because I have to go out with her. Yeah, she's mostly Silver Lab. And probably some Greyhound or Whippet because she's skinny. She will always be really skinny. No matter how much you feed her, she just poops it out. And her ribs are still sticking out. So anyway, does anyone want to discuss one more card? Because I love this theory. What is your card? What is your reversal card? And how do you relate to them? What do you think about the theory that your vertical influence is more subtle and you sort of have to work it out, whereas the mundane, the horizontal is more just, it's just kind of who you are. You take it for granted about yourself. Jack of Clubs. Yes, Graham. I love Jack of Clubs. Did a whole video on him last week. You know that. Oh, by the way, Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm going to do regular videos. I was going to do Tuesdays at 1, and then it just worked out to do it earlier today. So Tuesdays at 1, Thursdays at 11 a.m. Fridays 11. So the Jack of Clubs, we'll do both. We'll do this. He my best friend. Okay, Jack of Clubs, Uranus, Venus. This is what makes them so, like, they're really good at romance and dating and courting and charm and poetry, flowers, great lovers, very creative. It's that Uranus energy with the Venus. Okay, now let's look at Venus Uranus, the 9 of Spades. Very different energy. Happy to hear you are using EMDR. Yeah, my birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday yesterday. Yay! Happy birthday. It's a heart, right? I have to look it up. So think about the 9 of Spades, Graham. Do you know any 9 of Spades? And let's just describe them. They're serene. There is a serene energy about the Nine of Spades, and they're like Javier Bardem. They're usually just really beautiful. Seven of Hearts and Jack of Hearts, King of Diamonds. Wow, what a complicated compilation of connectedness. The King of Diamonds, that practical, the Seven of Hearts, the tender, sensitive, the Jack of Hearts, a fixed card. You got your toe in a lot of pies, don't you? It's a mixed metaphor, isn't it? You have your fingers in a lot of pies, your toes in a lot of rivers. I love that. I just love that. I'm like, ooh, are you really complicated? I mean, we all sort of are, but that's a lot of contrasting energies. I would imagine that that would allow you to bring in a lot of different soul aspects. I mean, sometimes I feel like I've brought in more soul than my body can handle. And other times I'm just like, oh, I just feel so linear and simple. That's just because I'm getting older. But the Jack of Hearts and the Nine of Spades, what are they? Okay, first of all, they're in this other X, which I don't know what that means, but I know it means something. So the Nine of Spades, I do think that they keep that Uranus energy. I always tell you that and spot on, that you're complicated. um, the Nine of Spades, I think they keep their Uranus energy to themselves. They're really private, kind of. They don't want to show you their hand. I think they have a sense of vastness about their spirit, and they feel like ordinary people, but I think they're capable of extraordinary generosity, extraordinary kindness. Are those little dark lines yet from my mascara? Can you tell I'm wearing mascara? Um, yeah, the Nine of Spades. And this is kind of intuitive, connected with having known a couple of them, including Yogananda. And the energy of the Nine of Spades is the most, what's the word for it? Ineffable. You can't put it into words what it means. And I think that the Nine of Spades is really okay with, I wouldn't call it vagueness, I would say mystery or enigma. And I think the Jack of Clubs could get there. I think they have a lot of fear. They're operating really quickly. That's my Neptune card. Graham. Your Neptune card. As a Three of Diamonds? Or Graham, I forgot what your card is. Oh, you're the Three of Diamonds. Yes, I was confusing you with the Green Knight. He's the Five of Spades. So, yeah, I think that gives the Three of Diamonds the capacity to dream and imagine in a very open-ended way. People describe you as an enigma. I love that. Wrapped in a riddle. So the Jack of Clubs and then yeah, they're very different, but I think their capacity for the unknown, and that's not really coming from their planetary intersection. That's kind of Uranus energy. Like it's edgy. It wants, like, the Jack of Spades is more into, like, their Uranus energy is much more visible. They let the freak flag fly and they make it look good. They're almost a playboy energy. And it's fun, and they're very funny. And the Nine of Spades, it's like they sense and they know and they feel too much to be lighthearted like that. But I think they're very deeply loving and very connective because of that Venus energy. I think they're into a divine kind of connection. My best friend in high school and for some years after was a King of Diamonds. Okay. Venus, Mars, and Mars, Venus. Your reversal card was your best friend. Wow. Grumpy, you're onto something there. And my guides even told me that. Okay, let me read it out loud in case it doesn't show up on the what-you-call-it. So how did you relate to this Five of Diamonds? This King of Diamonds, I instantly, Green Knight, get a sense that there was just a lot of, like, you both carry equal weight and there's a weightiness to your respect for each other, like the stature. You both are men of stature and recognize that in each other. And whether you were conscious of it or not, it's like it was the meeting of, like, hail fellow, well met. Grumpy, I love that you're saying this. 248 out of 5,000. I don't know what that means. May I not offend anyone, but let me give some advice. The three-dimensionality is missing in this system. Horizontal, vertical, but forward line. It must resemble a Cartesian XYZ. I totally agree. The system is a cube. Oh my God. I mean, my guides told me that, but I never came across that. I don't know if it's free, but you can buy it. And look on thrift books as well as Amazon, but I don't think it doesn't have to be that expensive. It's kind of what's the word for, like, it's antiquated. That's not the right words, but the terminology is a little hard. It's a little thick to get through because it was written like over 100 years ago. But and I've never been drawn to study it, although I know that there are a lot of gems in there. So yes, my guides told me, they said this system is three-dimensional and it doesn't just go, when they informed me that I could go to the right and up and look at the ascension, I was like, no, 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 it's too much, la, 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 la. And then it just spanked me in the face, over the course of a couple of years. I was like, oh my God, this is so obviously real. Because I gave my husband a reading all the way through and it was like, oh my God, this is how you show up in your kind of actualized self, is at your ascending hand. But they told me that it does go forward and backward. And oh my God. So for some reason that reminds me of this revelation they gave me yesterday, and we are all getting upgraded and downloaded. But they were telling me yesterday that in the pure spread, if you're looking for a relationship to somebody, if you go to the left, like the descending hand, it's the receiving hand. When you go to the right, it's the giving hand. So, like the Jack of Hearts would be a giver to the Nine of Hearts, whereas the Nine of Hearts would feel like they're receiving from the Jack of Hearts. And that's exactly true with this Jack of Hearts that I know. I'm the Seven of Diamonds, so I would see that. But interesting, the King of Diamonds is Uranus descending. I'm definitely receiving from the King of Diamonds, and they were definitely giving to me. So, for whatever that's worth. Leave a link or a source. Yeah, you can just look up Mystic Test Book. It'll show up, and it's by Olney Richmond. Very strange name. Olney. Wait. I think I spelled that right. Like, who was this dude? That dude was the Queen of Diamonds, and Robert Camp is the Three of Diamonds, which makes you think if it's a reincarnation. 2 books, a main one and supplemental. I have read them both 3 of 4 times and still don't understand most of it, but I get something new every time, right? Yeah. Are you teaching yet? Is that question directed at Graham? Because, dude, if you're digging into that, yeah. Well, I'm just really grateful you're participating in the chats. Well, Grumpy, yeah, that is so cool that you said that. And Grumpy, I'm trying to remember what you said your card was. I'm scrolling back through. Oh, I didn't even read this. I take the Jack of Hearts as the middle of a Taurus. Middle of a Taurus. Was that a typo? You're the Jack of Hearts. Yeah. It's beautiful. What else were we gonna do? Okay, so we're looking at the last I remember I was looking yeah, the Nine of Spades and the Jack of Clubs. Let's look at another one for the yes, I there are classes on my website, different levels, but mostly introductory, pretty comprehensive. Like for $100, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's really good. Hi, Ta. And I have taught classes like a couple of months ago, and I sort of got my shit together and did teach a couple classes on Zoom, and it was really fun. It was so cool to see people face to face. But you know what, Alyssa, I should do it again because you guys, it's just so much fun to be face to face and talking about this stuff. So I sort of wait for a topic to come to me, probably through you guys. Like if there's a real strong thrust of like, oh, I want to study, relationship or karma cards or whatever. Oh, Jack of Clubs. Pin that thought. In a tri-dimensional way, the reversal is more hard to get. I wouldn't even know how to figure that out. I would think that it would bring in the element of time somehow. I'm not sure if you know of the Lenormand system. No, you use a layout called the Grand Tableau that looks remarkably similar to the solar spreads. Oh, that's interesting. Because you have an axe missing. Oh, you're talking about the Jack of Hearts. It's the system I use in my business. We can look backwards, forwards, mirror cards, knighting, and many other movements such as the card counting, and I'm sure the same techniques can be applied here. I'm sure they can. Oh, that's fascinating. And it sounds connected to chess too, right? I will see if I get... Okay, so the Jack of Clubs, and we were talking about the Nine of Spades. So I think the insecurity of the Jack of Clubs is what makes that Venus vertical, where they're really looking for a sense of being home, a sense of safety. And I do think they kind of have a hard time with that. What would be the Jack of Clubs mirror card or reversal card from here? So here they're in Jupiter, Mars. That's the Ten of Hearts position here. So Jupiter, Mars would be Mars, Jupiter, which is the Five of Clubs, karma to the Four of Clubs. And they're Uranus to each other. Again, another Uranus connection. So I do see them as having some similarities too, the Five of Clubs and the Jack of Clubs, and I see it as being around a hidden sense of insecurity. Oh, okay. What it all represents is the problem. Thanks for now. Oh, you are welcome. Can you add me on Facebook and I'll give you a free... Oh, that would be so cool. A free GT reading, the Grand Tableau reading, so you can experience it. You may be able to see some connections that I can't. Yes. Joanne Cat 7 of Diamonds. Me too. SOS card. What does that mean? SOS. Sauce card. Yes, on Facebook. Okay, so do I just look for you like on Messenger? Graham, is it Heedle or Heddle? Heddle. GRAEMHEDDLE. Oh, there you are. No, I don't want Meta AI. Oh, there's a couple of Graham Heddles. Which one are you? Okay, which one are you? The blue one? And there's a Graham Heddles too. The second one, I'm guessing. No, that doesn't have an E on the end of it. First one did. McKinley. Oh, that's what you are on. Well, look at the screen. Oh, McKinley, meaning the mountain? Mount McKinley? I don't understand what you're saying, Graham. Like this screen. I'm sure you said this already. I'm like, what does the reversal card represent? So, yeah, Graham, tell me how to find you on Facebook, but you could find me too. It's Paula Krueger. And I have some dormant accounts, but anyway, we'll find each other, right? So, which one are you? Are you this one? Is that you? Okay, so what the reversal card is, the card that shares the planetary intersection that you have, but in reverse. So, tell me what your card is again. If you're the Six of Spades, instead of the Neptune horizontal, vertical, Uranus, we would go to the Uranus line horizontal, and it would be the Jack of Diamonds. So Jack of Diamonds and Six of Spades. Again, there's that Uranus relationship. So then we kind of look at the different qualities. I was on another tab. Show me that again. Look at the screen. Okay, is this you? You're the Ace of Spades. Oh, I have a feeling that's going to be really fun. Or are you the other Graeme? Oh, okay, that's what I thought you were telling me. McKinley. Fife lives in Burntis Island, Fife. Is this you? Black and white goofy picture. Okay. We found each other. You're not friends. Well, I know. Okay, add friend. Okay, done. I should really have a Facebook page. I used to do Facebook Lives all the time, and I loved the vibe because the chat just was more like sitting around in a family room with your friends, and it got super connective. But they changed their format so that it's very difficult to see my own face on the screen when I'm live. It's like, and then to see the chat, I have to shift it all around constantly. It is so fucked up. Sorry for my French, but it just like Facebook, you just totally fucked up. Of course they did. They're Facebook. Burnt Island. Did the island burn at one point? Okay, Ace of Spades. So, class, we're going to discuss the reversal card for the Ace of Spades. You occupy Neptune, Mercury. What would be Mercury, Neptune? All the way down here. Did you like that little Jetson sound? The Four of Hearts. We would ask what you have in common with the Four of Hearts. I would say, whereas the Four of Hearts, they tend to be fantasy authors, and there is a realm of the magical or the fantasy. And I think that there is a kind of maybe an escaping into that. The Ace of Spades is more realistically going, what's behind the veil? What's really going on here? So they're both dealing with something that's on the other side. The vertical Mercury means they're quietly really looking for the truth. Maisie! She was actually consuming a dollar bill. That better not be the 100. Another dollar. Where are you getting this money? She's literally chewing up money. It's so weird. It's so weird. I love it. Oh, yes, you're trying to get my attention. So, yeah, the Four of Hearts really wants to find the truth, but maybe in a more symbolic way. The Ace of Spades wants to know the secret practical formula behind everything because they're horizontal Mercury. They're like just, information is their deal. Like functional information is how they strike me because they're spades. And then the vertical Neptune is they're secretly interested in the mystical or the unexplained or what's beyond. What I find is Ace of Spades tend to be in one camp or the other, totally invested in the physical realm, almost to the denial or exclusion of the spiritual. Or they tend to be like, okay, I'm a mystic, like George Gurdjieff, Ace of Spades. It's like, okay, I really want to explore what's beyond the veil. But what they have in common is while one may be a mechanic or a chemist and the other a soothsayer, they're both looking for the secret formula that's going to make it work. Better than a 20. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like my blue glasses. It matches my outfit. I'm blue today. So, I think that person left who said that they connect all the circle of 7 colors with 7 of cards. The circle of 7 cards with color. I've never even thought about being kind of sinister. Yeah, that's different. Eating money. It's like, ugh. I mean, do you know how many hands have touched that? Ew. You're down the rabbit hole searching for the truth as an Ace of Spades, right? Have you met a Four of Hearts, or how do you feel about them? Or another question would be, how do you feel about the whole realm of emotional safety, making yourself feel secure? How do you feel about insecure people? Would be a more revealing question. Because do you have kind of hidden insecurities? And I would guess that you do because of the 7 of Hearts, Karma card, and Venus card, or Ascending Moon card. So yeah, that's what the reversal card is. The other way to do this would be to find your location here in the pure spread and find the other reversal. So that would be Uranus, Saturn. Saturn, Uranus would be the 8 of diamonds. Is that right? Yeah, it would be the 8 of diamonds. Yes, and there will often be this connection, the Uranus connection. One is your Uranus to the other. So how do you feel about 8 of diamonds people? I'm kind of tired. I think I need to go. I need to make sure Maisie's not pooping back there. Ace of Spades. Oh, there's Grumpy. You're still here. Is a fixed card and heart in twin flame mirroring. Man, you're going to have to decode that one for me. Ace of Spades is a fixed card. Is it a fixed card in some other system? Because it's not a fixed card in here. But it does have pretty tight relationships with fixed and semi-fixed. The Jack of Hearts it's Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. Yeah. The Ace of Spades is ascending Jupiter to the Jack of Hearts, which I find very interesting. When you look at the ascending hand of the Christ, Jupiter, seeing beyond the veil, that's where all of his success, a sense of self, solidity, purpose, identity, mission came from being able to see beyond the veil. Twin flame mirroring. Okay, understand the words, but yeah, no worries. No worries. So let's take one more and look at, okay, I'm going to look at my son. He's the Jack of Diamonds. So he's Uranus, Neptune. So Neptune, Uranus is the 6 of Spades. Uranus, Neptune, it's all about making dreams and innovations come true. But And that would be the United States. So that's interesting. It's like technology, Hollywood. It's like Uranus is the technology, but it's also, Neptune is the imagination. But it's also, it can be an extremely high vibration of bringing our dreams and ideals into a humanitarian sphere, which is, I think, the higher purpose of the United States. And then the Six of Spades could be the same, but let's look at Jack of Diamonds here in the Jack of Clubs, karma card position. So in the pure spread, it's that romantic, the Uranus-Venus connection, the unconventional relationship style. Venus, Uranus, we go up to the Venus line, and it would be the Uranus card, which is the Nine of Spades. Yeah, so that was that whole discussion with the Jack of Clubs and the Nine of Spades. But what lives there? The King of Hearts. So the Jack of Diamonds and the King of Hearts would have this relationship. And again, being symmetrically distant from each other in this center, in this other X, which I know means something, but I don't know what it is. See one in from the outside corner. Yeah, kind of tapped. Musk's magic taxis. Oh yeah, Musk's magic taxis. You're talking to, that's a Scottish way to say something, isn't it? Love your terminology. The self-driving vehicles of Elon Musk. Yes. Is Ace of Spades in conflict with his father? The King of Spades? Or say his Mars card, which is the Five of Spades, or ascending 10 of Spades? Be specific, like what you mean about his father. Because I don't think Ace of, well, I think that there is most likely a betrayal, a past life betrayal that's very intense for the Ace of Spades. Sometimes suicide. And that betrayal, that Seven of Hearts, comes back into their line in their childhood. So it's usually through a parent. So I would say it's very common for Ace of Spades to have a very painful, difficult relationship with one of their parents. Grumpy, I had a very difficult relationship with my dad. Okay. And I know one that was abused by her mother, but had a very good relationship with her father. So I think it just depends on who you agreed to carry in that karma of betrayal. Yeah. Whoa, whoa. Okay, so I think that's going to wrap it up. So Fridays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. I will come back Friday, Mountain Time, at 11 a.m. And today was supposed to be 1 p.m., but I just decided to be early. Graham, that's my Mercury card, and I was disowned by my father as a teenager after not knowing him at all as a kid. Was one of Who is Better. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you love my dog. I do too. Maisie, Maisie, come. She just, man, she sees a leaf moving, 500 yards away, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. So, Graham, that's your Mercury card. Do you have a connection to, like, either Virgo or Gemini rising? Do you have an astrological connection to your Mercury or moon? Like, the reason I'm asking that is it would make that Ace of Spades more prominent in your, in your life. Hey, honey, what do you have to say? You hoarding? Elbow hurts. His elbow hurts. We're building something. We're building. So maybe I should go building. I need to go build. But anyway, Graham, I'm excited to take you up on your offer and get a reading, and then I can finally hear you talk. Do you think we can probably talk on Messenger, right? Graham says, my Mercury sits at 0 degrees Aries in the 10th house. Well, I think that's really significant. Mercury also rules my 12th and 3rd. Well, yeah, so that Ace of Spades kind of, I'm just getting an image of it, like it's one of the levers on your big machinery of you that you turn. Yeah. Okay. So if we want to make this a little bit more like my Facebook format used to be, people would ask me to draw them a card. And then I would draw a card and intuitively answer their question. And it was really freaking amazing. And I'm really good at answering questions about like people. Like if you say, there's this person in my life and I just want to know something about them. And I can tune into them and get tons of information. And I should make sure that I have permission to do that and stuff. But that's kind of my speciality. Ace of Spades has a very 12th house feel. Yes, it does. Grumpy says, Mercury on Pisces, Aries, Cups is the messenger of God. I think that's... Are you talking about the Ace of Spades? Because I like that. I like all those words and ideas you just put together. Yeah, Mercury is messenger. Pisces is the Neptune influence. Aries, where does that come from? If you really want to mix up his soup, take all of the planets. So Ace of Spades would take Saturn, Uranus, Mercury, and Neptune. And try to do a dance with all of them, do a dance. And this is me. I know you're mixing it, yes. That's what we're all doing. Yeah, that's what works with this system, all the overlays. All right, well, have a great day, you guys. Graham will just be in touch whenever, and I've got a pretty flexible schedule. And what time is it late for you? Is it really late? What in the heck are you doing still awake, man? Okay. He's the Scottish guy. Yeah, the one that I said I did kind of a crummy Willie the Groundskeeper version of Scottish brogue.
God, yeah.
Oak doke. It's only 7:30. Clocks went back Sunday. Hey, you know what? Our clocks didn't change in Colorado. Isn't that interesting? And I like it. I really like it. I hope it still doesn't change. It's a little late for that. So it's only 7:30 at night. Oh, okay. Alrighty then. Yes. Thank you all. Bye. See you Friday, right? Oh, I know. Don't you hate it when it gets dark early? Light a candle for me. Light a candle for my Irish brogue. I admit it. It's where I always go. Let's get a pint. Wouldn't that just grand to get a pint with you, Graham? See you later.